this morning to you.
We appreciate the support, brother. Jade, you got any questions there?
I do have some questions. So, um, what inspired you to become a comedian?
Um, I was just telling somebody this story. When I was a little kid, it's the power of making somebody laugh is really, it's pretty amazing. And when I was a little kid, my parents used to have this friend that would come over. They had their artist friends come over. My parents were artists, and they had their friends come over, and they had these big dinners. And it was at those dinners, if you could make somebody laugh, it was held in really high regard. And they had this one friend, this big gay opera singer. This guy weighed like 400 pounds, and he had this glass eye from a hate crime. He hit on some guy in a bar in Virginia, and this is back in the day, and then the thing happened, and he lost his eye. So he had this glass eye, but it was in there really loose. It was like a budget glass eye. And
Oh,
if the thing was, if you could make him laugh, the eye would pop out. So for me, that was a
goodness.
challenge as a little kid to make an adult laugh and to see if, because I couldn't believe that would actually happen. But my parents always warned me, like, don't, his eye might pop out if he laughed. And they would make him laugh at the table. I'd see him holding it in. So I knew he liked this actress, Cloris Leachman. I don't know, I think I was like 7 or 8 or something like that. And he goes, he's talking at the table, and we were talking about movies. And he goes, and who's your favorite actress to me, or something like that. And I said, Clitoris Leachman, right? And he was like, ah, and his eye popped out on the table and rolled down this grate. And he just couldn't stop laughing. He kept saying, Clitoris Leachman. And I didn't even know what a clitoris was. I barely still know where it is, how to find it. But I had to reach down in this grate and get the eyeball. And I brought it out, and I gave it to him, and he gave me $5. So it was my first joke and my first paid gig. And I was like 7 years old. But I love for me, I tried stand up in college. My friends were always like, you should try it. And I went and I just did sort of characters and impressions of people in my life, and then little stories of people in my life. And that's sort of how it kind of started for me.
Awesome.
That is awesome. That is so funny.
That is epic. That is pretty fucking epic. So you say that you do USO tours and stuff like that, which is phenomenal. Anytime you can get around a bunch of troops to raise their morale is freaking amazing. I started last year with a concept called Operation I Got Your Six. Whenever I was medically released and came back out into society, I always heard about a bunch of people wanting to take and bring all the help that we have for our veterans and first responders and freedom fighters, which is civilians to me, because y'all do a lot on the home front for us. So we got Operation I Got Your Six #2 coming up on October the 6th here in Charlotte. We got Madison Rising headlining, Kings Hollow opening, and Redcon 1 coming out to play for us. We got a nice little march going through downtown Charlotte, and we're raising money for the Lone Survivor Foundation. They're building a retreat here in North Carolina to help out with PTS, couples retreats, single retreats, and stuff like that, man. So yeah, man, it's pretty awesome with what we're trying to do.
That's great,
and,
man.
and thank you for all the support for the troops and stuff like that, man. It really, 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 really means a lot. Especially when you're out on those USO
Well, we've got a lot of
tours and
veterans
stuff.
in my family, and I appreciate what all these guys do. So it's nice that you turned around the situation you talked about. Now you got this radio gig, and people are hearing it. You're putting out the positive vibes and playing stuff that makes people laugh and doing your thing, man. And putting together these shows, it's awesome, man.
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. So you're working on a new album.
Yeah, we just finished a new album. It's going to drop April 6th and 7th. A comedy album of stories. It's 10 different stories that I recorded live at the Fat Black Pussycat in the Village, which is part of the Comedy Cellar. and I'm very excited about it. It's with 800 Pound Gorilla Records, and it's stories that I've been doing over I haven't done an album with a record label, so it's going to be a pretty wide release, and we're very excited about it. I'm very excited about it. It's like it's sort of like a little jazz club in the village, and I tell these kind of longer form stories, but they're funny, man. They're funny. Right. If you like Unagi, there's something semi-similar in there, and there's some other good stuff in there. So I'm very excited about it. So I think it's my best work.
Awesome. Well, we definitely can't wait. Definitely can't wait to hear it. That's for sure. You got a tour date coming up anytime soon? You got any tours that you're fixing to go on throughout the country or anywhere else?
We're trying to put some stuff together right now. Right now, it's kind of like isolated dates. I'm in Long Island, the Brokerage, that weekend of this April 6th and 7th for that album release. But I just got off a tour of Israel. I was there for doing shows there. I have sort of scattered dates. If people follow me on Instagram, the Real DC Benny on Instagram, I post up my dates there, and I tweet most of them. I'm a little haphazard, and I have a show I do once a month with Ben Bailey from Cash Cab. We have a podcast together called Tall But True that's kind of on hiatus right now, but we'll be coming back, and we do a live story show in the Village at the Fat Black Pussycat in New York City. We're doing it next Wednesday. And we have comedians come on, and we have a theme, and everybody tells funny stories about the theme. So the next theme is conflict, which, hey, you can interpret that in many different ways. So I'm mostly in New York City, and then when I get isolated road gigs, I go out and I'm out there. So, but I post that stuff on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So right people can, check that out.
Well, shoot, if you ain't got nothing going on in October, you ought to come down and join us for Operation I Got You 6.
Yeah, well, it sounds good, man. That's that would be a thing. That would be a thing. We'll figure that out.
Oh yeah. It's we got a meeting with the Fillmore here in Charlotte at the end of the month. I go to the Carolina Panthers Celebrity Classic every year. It's Mike Tolbert's family foundation, to where they help out the youth within the community and stuff. And last time we was out there, we had Adelie Studd and Billy Dawson hanging out with us amongst all the other Panthers and Des Bryant, Steve Smith, all that good stuff, man. So what are Jay? You got a question? I don't want to take them all.
I was going to ask, do you have a favorite comedian yourself that inspires you, or just that you think is funny? I know sometimes when you're funny yourself, it's hard to find other people that will make you laugh. But who do you have as a favorite, or do you have a favorite?
I like little bits and pieces of a whole bunch of different guys. There's a guy named Tony Woods who's actually a veteran comic, very, very funny guy. That Dave Attell, Nick DiPaolo, Colin Quinn. There's then the old Red Fox stuff, and then comedic actors like Peter Sellers and guys like that. But I'm sort of all over the place. I like a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and there isn't really somebody that I look at and I sort of replicate their style or whatever. I sort of do my own thing, but I appreciate all these guys' different different styles.
And you get that in for people who don't know or whatnot within the entertainment industry. That's true passion right there. That musicians, comedians, actors, whatnot. It's when you love a little bit of everything. That's great, because just one genre might not mix with the complete crowd that you're trying to get to. So you do a little bit of everything. You love a little bit of everything, especially when it comes to inspiration and stuff like that. That's true passion, I believe. That it's just not, okay, I'm a rock and roller, I'm just going to listen to rock and roll. Well, rock and roll is not the only type of music out there. You know, it's a little bit of everything. You bring it in together and make your own style. It's awesome.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I agree with you.
Jake?
And so I was going to ask too, what does DC stand for? Because I wrote down like a list of things that I'm guessing it stands for. But,
well, we know D's for Danny.
Daniel Clyde. Is it Dennis Calvin?
It's a nickname. I grew up in Washington, D.C., and my name is Ben Wertofsky. And when I came to New York, I was to do comedy. This was, I don't know, almost 30 years ago. I started mostly in the black comedy circuit. So the hosts, when they would bring me on and say my name, nobody could say Wertofsky. It was a very unfamiliar sounding name. People always messed it up. So there was this one guy who hosted at the Uptown Comedy Club in Harlem, and his name was Jimmy Mack. He died in the Tracy Morgan car accident, and he would name everybody. They're like, give everybody a name, like when you made your bones or whatever. So there's a guy named Brooklyn Mike from Brooklyn that he named, and then he's like, where are you from? And I'm like, I'm from D.C. And he's like, okay, you're D.C. Benny now, because I can't say this last name. And that's where it came from. So, you know,
That's
people
awesome.
didn't know. At first, they thought I was going to come up there and, you know, with two turntables, and they didn't understand what it was. But it just kind of stuck, and you know, I'm not going to change it now. It's just
Right.
it's like, you know, I made
right.
my bones with that name. You know, somebody gave it to me.
Oh, yeah, that fits you just right. I mean, just like the same thing with me with Big Country. I'm 6'6". When I left Germany back in 2010, I was deadlifting a smart car. But anyway, it's funny how those nicknames come about, and that's what people remember you as. You know, when I went, I did year reserves in 2007. Then I went to Germany in 2008 for active duty, and when I got there, I swear to you, even up to the time that we took over our duty station in Iraq, I got, where in the fuck are you from? Nobody had actually heard that deep of a Southern drawl from anybody unless it was in a damn movie or something. And I mean, of course, I've lost, you know, quite a bit of it, even though I'm back home in the South, but you know, it's something that you really don't recognize, that whenever you get them out and amongst people on how thick your accent really is, because people just sit there, say something, just talk. I just want to hear you talk. So it's epic. So that's, you know, I was in basic training at Fort Knox, Kentucky, and we was going through some drill movements, and one of my drill sergeants chopped me in the neck trying to get me to pass out. Well, instead of making me pass out, he busted a blood vessel in my eye. And the eye doctor on post is the one that gave me the nickname Big Country. He said, all right, you know, private, you know, what are we fixing to do? And I was like, well, I reckon we fixing to rig this eye chart. And he just looked at me and was like, holy fuck, dude. You a country hick motherfucker. You know, it's funny. And the name stuck with me, and it sticks now. So that's awesome, man. So there you go, everybody. Now you know where
like,
DC Benny comes from.
I lived in North Carolina for a year. I went to school there for a year, look, when I come to New York, people think that I have kind of a drawl, like a Southern, because I have like a kind of D.C., Baltimore, Virginia, Philly kind of thing going on, and they think that's an accent. But then when I was in North Carolina, I'll never forget. I was on an elevator, and this lady was like, "Could you mash that button?" I was like, "What? Just mash it. Just all mash that button." What the fuck she was talking about? You got to mash your button? I never heard that. Mash it. But yeah, man, I love those drawls. Those Southern accent. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was saying that's funny. Mash that button.
So when's the first time you ever heard the phrase "over yonder"?